Hi everyone, and welcome to another Here's of the Grid video. Today I'm going to be continuing my Arsenal card coverage with the power-up cards of all the Arsenal cards that have been released so far. Now, this video is going to be actually considerably shorter than the last one because there are only 5 power-up cards that have been released so far. First is going to be Zeo Jet Cycles. It is a 5-cost power-up card, and its ability says use before the start of a battle. Move up to 2 Ranger figures from the center to the location of this battle. This is actually a more versatile card than you might think from first looking at it. Well, actually starting with the picture, naturally the Zeo Jet Cycles, these were the motorcycles that the Zeo Rangers rarely used in Power Rangers Zeo. I mean, basically all the way up until space, there's really no point in using a lot of motorcycles because they could just teleport anywhere. So they didn't use motorcycles very much in the early seasons. But still, I mean, it's cool vehicles, nothing wrong with that. But moving on to its ability, as I mentioned, this card is a lot better than it might look. So let's say that there were a couple of Rangers that a bunch of foot soldiers landed in their location during the deployment phase. They decide to stay there and take care of those foot soldiers before going off to fight the monster. But after fighting the foot soldiers, they ended up taking more damage than they initially planned. So they decide to go to the command center. Now, one of them had to initiate the first battle against the foot soldiers and then use their second one to go to the command center. They don't have any usable action tokens left. While the second ranger only used one in order to go back to the command center. Now you can use the Zeo Jet Cycles to move both of those rangers from the command center to a battle that's about to take place. Now keep in mind that the ranger, let's say in my example that I used, the ranger that still has the action token left over, you cannot use the Zeo Jet Cycles to move them there and then initiate a battle with that second ranger, because it has to be at the start of each battle. So somebody had to have already initiated the battle before you can use this card. So there'd have to be a third ranger at the location of the monster or wherever it is you want to go. And then you can activate the Zeo Jet Cycles, move both of those rangers in. But that second action token that the second ranger did not use can be used during the fight to initiate, let's say, initiate another battle against the monster if they need to later. Or they can use it to give themselves a couple extra energy tokens during the fight. And also one last thing to note is that the Zeo Jet Cycles, they have to move from the inner location or the command center. I mean, it has to be from the command center. You cannot move them from one outer location to another. It has to be from the center location to an outer location that's about to fight. But that's pretty much all there is to know about Zeo Jet Cycles. The next card is Thunderslinger. It's a 2-cost power-up. Its ability says use when any ranger plays an attack card. Add 1 die to that attack for each energy spent to play that card. The Thunderslinger was the one-time item that the rangers used to defeat the Super Putties in Mighty Morphin. No, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. So it has to be an attack card that a ranger plays. If they perform an attack using a maneuver or reaction, then you can't use the Thunderslinger because they didn't play an action card to perform the attack. It has to be an attack card that Thunderslinger responds to. And depending on what the attack is, if they played a power weapon, let's say the Power X, if they played the Power X, they add 2 dice to it. So now, well, they add 3 dice to it because it's 1 die for each energy spent to play the card, to play that attack card. So you spent 3 energy to play the Power X. So now you're rolling 6 dice for the Power X, which means you're more likely to roll critical hits, which you can then take advantage of the Power X's secondary ability to potentially do even more damage to adjacent targets. Thunderslinger is really good and doesn't cost you any extra in order to activate it, so that's pretty awesome. The next card is Sword of Darkness. It's a 4-cost power-up. Its ability says use during any ranger turn in battle. Instead of playing a card, spend 3 energy to deal 6 damage to an enemy card of your choice. So for the cost of a power weapon, you can potentially, you just do 6 damage to any enemy card. Doesn't matter if it's being guarded, unless it's an ability like Scattered Visage that reduces all damage done to it to 1 or something like that, then this card automatically deals 6 damage. You're going to take out pretty much any monster or foot soldier card that you use it against. Bosses, you'll take out a majority. I'd say at least 50% of the boss cards have 6 or less health. It's a really powerful card. My kind of issue is that why did they use the Sword of Darkness as an arsenal card? This isn't something that the Rangers use themselves. I mean, Tommy used it, but he was under Rita's spell, and I just think they could have found like a weapon of good to take the place of the Sword of Darkness. But I mean, I get it, it's a popular weapon. It's what Jason had to destroy in order to free Tommy, so I understand its relevance. I'm not complaining too much. I just kind of find it odd that they would use a Weapon of Evil for the Arsenal cards. But anyway, like I said, it's still a very powerful card. The cost of a power weapon, you're dealing a guaranteed 6 damage to any enemy card. It's fantastic. Next is Black Box. It's a 4-cost power up, and its ability says use when you play an attack card, double the amount of damage dealt by that attack. If you roll the Power Bow for 6 dice, you get all regular hit results. Normally you deal 6 damage, but you use the Black Box, and now you're dealing 12 damage to whatever target. Now, of course, you can't split the damage or anything like that, but still, even if, let's say, you rolled the Power Bow and you only rolled 4 blanks and 2 regular attacks, use the Black Box, now you're dealing 4 damage to whatever target you were targeting. And yeah, just being able to double the damage you deal to an enemy card is great. And you don't have to activate this card before. Well, I mean, I guess you have to use it when you play an attack card. You can't wait for the results to double it. So, I mean, there's the caveat that if you roll nothing but blanks, then this card isn't going to do anything. But if you're able to convert results, then pretty much sitting pretty with the Black Box. And the Black Box is a Samurai season weapon. Oh, I say weapon, but it's a power-up that the Rangers would use to go to Super Samurai mode. I like the design of it. It's pretty cool. Alright, finally, the last power-up card is the Power of 6. It's a 6-cost power-up. Its ability says, use to resolve one of the following effects. When any Ranger gains energy, they gain 6 energy instead. Or, when any Ranger rolls dice for an attack, they roll 6 dice instead. Or, when any Ranger suffers damage, reduce that damage by 6. Though, as the name implies, the reason it costs so much Power of 6 is every one of its effects has something to do with 6. The number 6, since this is the suit that Orion wore in his gold mode. I think that's what it was called, in Super Mega Force. Now, the design has grown on me a little bit as the years have gone by, but I was never a huge fan of this design. I was actually surprised that Sentai would come up with something like this. It seems very, I don't know, kind of basic. Kind of odd, just a gold suit with a bunch of faces of all the 6 Rangers on it. I think they could have done better, but like I said, it's grown on me a little bit over the years, so I'm not going to complain too much. This is, I think, the most expensive Arsenal card in the game right now, so its ability has to be pretty good, and the fact that you can choose one of 3 effects is more phenomenal. So if any Ranger at some point gains any amount of energy, they'll gain 6 instead. That's what that first effect means. So Kimberly, her Flying Kick, it's an attack that gains 1 energy. So if you used Flying Kick to roll 2 dice, instead of gaining 1 energy, you could use the Power of 6 to gain 6 energy instead. Its second ability, again, if Kimberly's using her Flying Kick, you roll, instead of rolling 2 dice, you can use this to roll 6 dice instead. So basically now she's rolling the equivalent of a Power Bow. She just can't ignore the guard keyword because that's not Flying Kick's ability. And the last effect, I mean, it just reduces the damage by 6. Very powerful, very good. You're going to be negating most damage with this card if you use it for defense. I think the second ability of rolling 6 dice is the least effective, and I only say that because there's always the possibility you're going to roll nothing but blanks or majority blanks. So if you roll 5 blanks and 1 regular hit, you're only dealing 1 damage for 6 dice. Again, you can always convert those results because it is an attack that you have to use the second effect for. And yeah, keep in mind actually that in order to use its second effect of rolling 6 dice, it can be it doesn't have to be for an attack card. If a maneuver or reaction card says a Ranger performs an attack with such and such dice, you can use the Power of 6 to roll 6 dice instead for that ability. Its first ability, I think, is awesome because most Rangers only gain 1 energy whenever they do gain energy at all. And being able to add 6, that's 2 power weapons you can use after using the Power of 6. You can use 2 power weapons right off the bat. Let's say Jack's Delta Blasters, and then you can use Sid's ability to convert the results of Jack's roll to nothing but critical hits. And then, like I said, its third ability, being able to negate just about any damage dealt to you, is invaluable in this game. So its defensive ability kind of speaks for itself. I really like the Power of 6. Never been able to actually get it though. Every time I have it in the Arsenal deck, it never comes out. It's always one of the extra cards that doesn't show up in the game. So I've yet to take advantage of it, but I really see the potential in it. But yeah, those are all of the power-up cards that have been released so far for the Arsenal cards. Look forward to my next video in which I will cover the team power-up cards. And in the meantime, head on over to OneUpToRanger.com, check out the full card database, The affiliate links and the links to my stand store are going to be provided below. And if you have any questions about any of the cards I've covered, please let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you.